Say again?
Okay, up small.
Thank you.
Please stretch it.
And a big update now coming in with regards to the same case on Bengal woman trainee doctor murder probe. Police has now added the rape section in this case. Remember earlier we told you that one person has also been detained in this case.
The father has alleged brutal rape and then murder. The indications from the reports are that she was brutally raped, and that to the seminar hall, and she was on duty. Imagine if women are not safe in a government-run college after duty, on a government-run hospital after duty, under the watch of Home Minister and Health Minister Mamata Banerjee, what their plight might be in Sandesh Khali. And instead of ensuring the truth and instead of ensuring that justice is delivered to the victim's family, Mamata Banerjee's government has constituted an inquiry committee which has interns and which has members who are close to the TMC party. What will be their attempt? To cover up the truth, to bury the truth. The state government should immediately go for a CBI probe.
Our editor East Kamalika Sen Gupta is joining us on the broadcast. Kamalika, BJP is clearly touching upon the Sandesh Khali incident yet another time. We heard from BJP's Shehzad Poonawala. What's the word that you are picking up from Trinamool Congress's camp at this point of time?
Trinamool Congress clearly saying that this is an unfortunate incident and investigation is taking place and police has already formed a seat, and this is whoever has done such acts, they will be punished or he is punished. That is what the stand of Trinamool Congress is. But the question, there are various questions to this case. Number one is a government hospital, a government college in proper Calcutta, which is a very famous government college in Calcutta. Where is the security? That is the question. Where is the security system in this college where one female doctor, student doctor is not safe? That is the question which the other doctors are raising, and they have gone for a no work since yesterday, and now what we are getting that in other government colleges also this thing has spread. Other colleges doctors have stood by this case in solidarity. They are doing candle marches, lot of protests are happening. The junior doctors, they are of the opinion, they have demanded for a judicial inquiry. They have demanded that they don't have CCTV in proper places. They have demanded for 24/7 security, which has not been provided to them. They have said that they want justice. Till they have got all these promises, they are going to continue with the no work. So clearly the doctors, junior doctors fraternity, they are very upset about this, and they have actually taken into the roads. On the other hand, the state the police has formed the SIT, and as we know that one person was detained last night and he has been arrested. This person was an outsider, Shonjoy Rai. He was an outsider to this hospital. That's what we are coming to know. State Women Commission has sought a report from this. Chief Minister has spoken to the victim's family. But the big question is, where is the security in a government college in Kolkata, which is a very renowned government college, and what happens what is the administration thinking of the security of the doctors in hospital?
Indeed, Kamalika, that's the question that we'll continue to ask as well. Thank you so much for putting across all of those crucial information for our viewers. We'll keep coming back to you for more developments on that. Right now, we have picked up some more ground reports and reactions straight from the ground over this particular story. Take a look at all of those.
Mysterious death of a 31 years old female medical PG student in a very affluent college, that is Harcourt Medical College in Kolkata, is really putting question. Now what we are getting is that this victim's body was recovered around 11:30 from this third floor of this building of Harcourt Medical College, which is known as the seminar hall. Now after that, the police commissioner, all the senior officers of police have come here. They are investigating the matter. The forensic team too has come and they are also investigating the matter. The sources from the doctors inside the hospital said that yesterday in the night she had dinner and she was in call on. That means she was on duty, but around late night she went to the seminar hall to take rest. After that, from morning there was no trace of this female student, and then then a group of doctors, junior doctors, students, they found her body there. That's what we are getting it from the doctor's source. On the other hand, the victim's mother, she has told that she feels that this is a murder. Last night she had a talk with her mother and after that she was absolutely okay. That's what the mother says, and she says the spectacle was broken. She says, the mother says that there was injury on his body, on her body, and she says that it is a murder she feels. On the other hand, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has called this victim's parents.
Oh, hi. My name is Vicky Bell, and I'm all set for my big trip. Destination? Check. Flight? Check. Visa? Check. Hotel? So many to choose from. So overpriced. I need more information. Aha! Wakana knows the best hotel with the best features at the best price in all major destinations. For the best stay, I trust Wakana for that perfect check-in. Oh, sorry, my bag. Wakana.
এর তদন্ত চলছে। মাননীয় মুখ্যমন্ত্রী তিনি মৃতার পরিবারের সঙ্গে, বাবার সঙ্গে কথা বলেছেন। স্বাস্থ্য সচিব ঘটনাস্থল। আমরা এই মুহূর্তে পুলিশের উপর পূর্ণ আস্থা রেখে তদন্তের দিকে তাকিয়ে আছি।
পরিবারের লোকজন অভিযোগ করছে যে ধর্ষণ করে খুন করা হয়েছে।
আমি তো বললাম যে যেহেতু একটা অভিযোগ তারা করেছেন, তাদের বাড়ির লোক, তাদের আশঙ্কা থেকে কোনো অভিযোগ তারা করতে পারেন, কিন্তু সেটাও তো খতিয়ে দেখতে হবে। হয় আচমকা কোনো অসুস্থতাজনিত কারণে মারা গেছেন, আর না হলে কোনো অপরাধজনিত কারণের শিকার হয়েছেন। এই গোটা বিষয়টাই পুলিশ খতিয়ে দেখছে, সর্বশক্তিতে তদন্ত করছে। মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় মাননীয় মুখ্যমন্ত্রী নিজে মৃতার বাবার সঙ্গে কথা বলেছেন। পুলিশ পুরোদস্তুর চেষ্টা করছে প্রকৃত ঘটনা তুলে আনতে।
जो जिस हालत में उनका बॉडी मिला गया, कंप्लीटली निर्वस्त्र और बहुत बॉडी में ब्रूसेस, खत जो है बहुत ज्यादा, इसको देखकर लगता है उसको रेप करके खून किया गया है। तो हम लोग का दाबी है सीबीआई इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो, और ऐसे भी शाम के वक्त के बाद आप पोस्टमार्टम नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन यहाँ पर इन लोग पोस्टमार्टम कर रहे हैं, ये हमको सुनने में आ रहा है। हम लोग चाहते हैं कि परिवार ये बोले कि वो प्रिजर्व करे बॉडी, और कल हम लोग केंद्रीय सरकार के कोई
And in fact, the nurses of the hospital concerned here, the hospital currently in question, it's a medical hospital, the government affiliated medical hospital, one of the very reputed and famous hospitals of Kolkata, RG Kar, where this shocking incident actually transpired. You can see the nurses of this concerned hospital at this point of time protesting about this horrific incident that transpired there in a very reputed and a very famous hospital there in West Bengal. West Bengal woman doctor's death has now shocked the nation. On Friday itself, the dead body of a female doctor was found under some mysterious circumstances. What we are learning from our sources, one person who has been arrested in this particular case, our reporter has told us that he is not affiliated with the hospital, he was an outsider. The victim was a second-year postgraduate student of this particular medical college, which is RG Kar Medical College, as we spoke of it earlier also. It's a government-affiliated, very reputed and famous medical college of West Bengal. A woman's body was found dead inside the seminar hall on the third floor of the campus in semi-naked position as well. In fact, our editor is Kamalika Sen Gupta is back with us on the broadcast. Kamalika, we are learning and in fact see through the visuals as well that the nurses are carrying out this particular protest, demanding the justice in this horrific case as well.
Yes, because definitely security is a big concern for the nurses of this area also, of this college and other colleges also, and they have stood by in solidarity because this is a very heinous crime. That's what we are getting it from the sources, and that's why not only the nurses are out. Yesterday the doctors went out with candles on road, and what we are coming to know that the other government colleges, they have also gone for a protest and they have also started no work. Clearly big question on the security of this hospital, and also various from various sources we are getting the preliminary PM report also says that there are injury, and the mother, the victim's mother clearly told us that when she saw the body, she has seen multiple injuries. Now what type, there are quite, what we are getting is from the sources that there are serious injuries. The PM report is not very good. The PM report says that as we have come to know from various sources, that there are multiple injuries. That's what the doctors are also saying who are there inside the hospital. So that is a very, very, very big heinous crime. That's what we are coming to know, and that's the murder case, along with rape charges have been added to it. Clearly, it's a very big question on the security of a very important government hospital in Kolkata.
Definitely, Kamalika. In fact, earlier you also touched upon how the rape section has recently been added in this particular case. One person, according to the sources, has also been detained in this particular matter. Please tell us more about the sections imposed against him. Also, Kamalika, do we have any knowledge of the CCTV footage that has been collected by the cops?
See, the CCTV is this seminar hall where the PO is, that means the point of occurrence is there was no CCTV. That's what we are coming to know from the sources. But there are other CCTVs, entry and exit points. Police have investigated that, police has taken that, that's what we are coming to know. But definitely the big thing is that the sections which has been added is on the basis of the complaint of the victim's parent is 64, which means rape according to the BNS new, and also 103 section has been added, which is murder. So this case is now the murder according to the new law BNS. Yes. So this is one thing which has been done. A special investigative team has been formed by the Kolkata police. Kolkata police is investigating in every way. BJP is demanding for a CBI inquiry, but definitely the big question is why there is no proper security. How can such a crime happen inside the hospital? It's not outside the hospital, it's inside the hospital, in the seminar hall, when this student, she was in call on, that means she was in duty, she went there to take some rest. That's what we are coming to know from the sources inside the college. And then such a incident has taken place, which is indeed puts very big question on the security system of this college.
Definitely. Kamalika, also if we were to talk about Trinamool Congress's Supremo's conversation with the victim parents, what kind of assurance has been provided by Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee to the parents of the victim?
What we are coming to know, the parents have said that she has assured that justice will take place. Whoever has done this crime, they are not going to be spared and highest punishment will be given. That's what that assurance has been given. But the parents who have lost their daughter, for them they have totally shattered. They are just saying that they spoke with her last night, day before yesterday, last night, after dinner, and then they got this news that their daughter is no more. And then they came here, they saw the body, they were horrified because they were saying that it was a semi-nude dead body, and there was no dress on that, and on top of that there were injury marks. Her spectacle was broken. So clearly the family is shattered.
Definitely, Kamalika. Thank you so much for putting all of that into perspective.
You're still watching live coverage of the End Bad Governance protests nationwide. And now we're going to be taking the conversation further, and joining us this time we have Professor Emmanuel. He is Professor of Political Institutions, Governance and Public Policy. We also have Professor Oke Ikechukwu. He's the Executive Director, Development Specs Academy. And we have Honorable Ifeanyi Uzokwe, is a representative of Inewi North, South, Kosigo, Anambra State. Great to have you all.
Thank you.
All right, let me start with Professor Oke Ikechukwu. So it's day 2. And we've seen proceedings so far. Some say it's more impressive than yesterday, but the demands are still there. And I've been thinking, what are the short-term actions that this government can actually take to make the protesters actually feel heard and actually say, you know what, I think it's time for us to take it back and watch what the government is going to do next. And one of the demands, they want petrol prices down to as much as 200 naira per litre. I would love to see that. Talk to me about how this can be realistically done, and if the Dangote refinery can play any part in actually bringing PMS prices down, and at what cost?
I think the first point to make is that the protesters have registered their anger, dissatisfaction, and if you like, dismay at the turn of economic events for everybody. That point has been made, that point has been noted. But I look at government communication and I ask myself, are we aware that there are levels of leadership below the presidency? We saw what Fubara did yesterday. How many governors have done that? The point is this. In every state of the federation, there's a governor, there's a local government chairman, there are council chairmen, there are ward chairmen. Should there not be instruments for government communication? Everybody is sitting at home and talking about a riot against the federal government, of which, and some of the states, the APC states, is it not scandalous that people should be rioting there? So there's a challenge of communication, but let's place it properly. Not quite 30 minutes ago, there was a guest here from, I think, Federal Housing Authority, who told them what they are doing. Fantastic. My question is, are most agencies of government aware that they are to send in weekly, if not daily, update on what they are doing to the Ministry of Information? No. So everybody, I come from my ministry, I talk. I come from a parastatal. That's why you find that every parastatal has its own radio program, TV program, which is most of the time not even watched by the staff. What point am I making? Government cannot continue in this manner, where somebody comes to talk about his agency, how it's shining, whereas a holistic approach is the ideal thing. Fortunately, you find that some other people have come and given a wider, a wider narrative on the matter. People like Dele, Malake, the minister himself, for instance. But the point I'm leading up to is this. 3 clear points. Number 1, the challenge on the table is one of national angst. Number 2, the matter of addressing that problem is not to paper things over. Is to admit some of the challenges that they are real. Is to make the protesters feel understood. Is to make them feel that they belong. And that's why I think that it would help for Mr. President to address Nigerians. Let us also put a few other things on the table, like I said, I think on this program yesterday. If we pretend that the problem we are dealing with began a year ago, we are being extremely dishonest. 2-3 years ago, everybody who was paying attention knew there was going to be food scarcity. And so that's on the table among other things. And looking at it holistically, talking about the demands have been put on the table. Where to create a problem is if those making the demands say it must happen immediately. A lot of things have gone wrong. If you want 200 naira per liter, I personally will want 10 naira per liter because I'm also using petrol. So having placed that demand, the heat is on government. How can you meet this specific demand, or at least respond to it in a way that shows that, oh, we're paying attention? Those are the things. Now, as for Dangote refinery, I do not know. You're bringing up an entirely different matter because the controversy surrounding that project and all the stories in the media, I don't know how much of it is true. But at a personal level, I have genuine concerns about whether it will address it, and I take it from a totally different angle. What is the price of cement? Who are those in charge of cement? 3 companies, Dangote, Lafarge, and Bua. Now, the profit these 3 companies made together last year, 576 billion naira between the 3 of them. That's the profit. Now, supposing they made 300 billion, that would still be a lot of money. What is the implication? If I'm selling bread and I'm making a certain amount of profit, that's because I'm selling at a certain price. Summary of what I'm saying in simple terms, it means that the cost of cement is artificial. To that extent, and also with the allegations and counter-allegations about Dangote wanting a monopoly, my concern is, can we assume that it will really solve the problem? I have no answer to that.
I think
the specific issues are this. Price of petrol, level of living among other things.
There are a lot
to the
more
government.
questions than answers. My apologies, sir. There are a lot more questions than answers, which is, of course,
valid after so many years. And you are also spot on in saying that, this is a long time coming. It's not even something that started in this republic, which is just 25 years ago. But let me ask Honorable Ifeanyi sitting next to you right there. Now, Honorable, one of the demands that we understand has been made is that the legislature across Nigeria, my colleague Sean was speaking with Mr. Adeyanju yesterday, said that one of the demands is that the legislative business should now be part-time. And, the number of, the retinue of staff to legislators at the federal and state levels should be brought down, and that we should come down to just one unicameral legislature at the federal level as opposed to a bicameral. How is the legislature, particularly the National Assembly, taking this?
Thank you for having me. I have been a proponent of cutting down costs in governance. When things are not going the way they are supposed to be going, you look inward and see what you will do to support government and the masses. Having said that, I don't know if the people talking about part-time legislation, I ask myself, is it the work that we are doing that Monday to Fridays are not enough? They only see us on television doing the work. Let me be frank with you. The committee I'm a member of, we are not going for this recess. We just came back from Port Harcourt, Joint Committee on Investigation for Downstream and Midstream. We just came back from Port Harcourt. We are adjourned for 1 week because of a member of the National Assembly, distinguished Senator Dr. Patrick Ifeanyi that we lost recently. After which, we will reconvene. We have plenaries Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The same day we are having plenaries, we will retire to our different committees and we'll be working, doing our oversight functions. So I don't know what they are talking about having part-time legislatures. We can talk about, now we've approved minimum wage from 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira. You can tell us that workers should be doing part-time, use 2 days to do their farming.
Well, we can come back to that, Honorable, just a second. But perhaps the issue is what you have also said, in that a lot is being done by the legislature, according to you and a number of other colleagues of yours, but no one knows what you're doing. That is why a whole load of people that you represent, whenever you go to your base, they are asking you to perform executive functions. So it goes back to the fact that there is very minimal communication, and I think Professor Ikechukwu also mentioned that earlier. There is very minimal communication about how government is working and what people should actually expect from you, the members of the legislature. The most that people hear are that senator is earning X million naira a month, and a member of the House of Representatives is making X amount of money, and all of your children don't work in Nigeria, don't school in Nigeria, they school abroad. So you are distant, disconnected from the realities that the average Nigerian is facing. So how is the National Assembly expecting people to believe them when you are so distant, seemingly distant from the people?
And that is not true. Because if you are talking about disconnect between the members of the National Assembly and their constituents, I would say it is not true. If it is true, how come you people knew that our children are going to school abroad, that we are earning so A to Z amount? Every Thursday, our plenaries are live. On many occasions, you see the speaker, the spokesperson of the House of Representatives coming on air. The truth is that there is so much anger that the people want to believe what they want to believe. You can't tell me we'll be having live plenaries on Thursday. I can only talk authoritatively on the house I belong to, the arm I belong to. If you invite me, I am here. If you have invited us, they will come. So what do you want us to do again? Before I finish this program, I will present to Channels Television my pay slip for this month, for last month, for Christ's sake. I earn 936,000 naira. That is the truth. I stood for this election. If I tell my constituents how much I earn, they will not come and collect it. I will tell them the truth. I have my pay slip here. I will submit it to Channels TV. Are you telling me that if I leave my base, just like in Civil Service Commission, if I leave my base to Port Harcourt and I was paid an allowance, you calculate everything and say it's my salary? I don't believe in that.
All right, Honorable.
This is the watchword now.
All right, Honorable.
Fodio said that truth is an open wound. Conscience is an open wound. Only truth can kill it.
Right. Thank you for that, Honorable. We'll definitely be expecting that slip you said you sent to us. And I know, some people still talk about the benefits, that most of you lawmakers actually get, and how big, those benefits are. But let me come to Professor Ayede now. Great to have you, Prof. So definitely this conversation about cutting cost of governance, been having it for the longest time. And I'm wondering, realistically, how can we actually see that happen, in a country like Nigeria, where over 60% are multi-dimensionally poor? How can we make this happen, cutting cost of governance, really?
Yeah, I think a lot of things can be done. But now is a situation where a certain arm of government is perceived as a sinkhole because we don't appreciate the quality of work that arm is supposed to do, precisely the legislature. And it all began with the effort of the president at the beginning of this Fourth Republic to appeal to the general public to identify with him in his conflict and agitation with the National Assembly, what we call plebiscitary appeal. But beyond that, I think that there's a lot of ways. For instance, the legislature, the Honorable Joel was just talking about his allowances, which is actually where people are looking at. He spoke very easily about his salary, which is 900,000 plus or so. But he didn't tell us specifically what the allowance is. He's talking about if I'm paid allowance to go somewhere and come back, why should anybody raise an eyebrow about that? Because other people also go to places and they know what allowances they are being paid relative to that of the National Assembly. Now that's just for a joke. The real issue is that there's a lot of waste in governance, there's a lot of corruption going on, because people weigh all of those in terms of value for money. And then, of course, look at the volume of scandals within government. And some of these things are played around in social media. So the due process is not working. We have the fiscal responsibility bill. We also believe it's not working. We also look at the revelation from the anti-corruption bodies and the volume of the amount of money that is being contested in these allegations. And people are wondering, how can somebody, for instance, say he signed out 40 billion or 400 billion naira by mistake, and the person is still out working. So somebody, again, a very important personality in government is making a speech and he says, let them be demonstrating while we are eating. I mean, these are some of the things that sort of consolidate the idea that those in government privatize public resources. And that's actually where the cost of governance goes.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Ayade. Let's come back to lawmaker in the House now, Honorable Ifeanyi Uzokwe. Thank you very much. I think here that it's interesting that you put out your salary out there because a lot of people are interested in that. So 936,000 is a salary. Maybe I should start off by asking you if you could share the slip.
I will.
Oh, I thought you had it on you.
It's on my phone. Let me call my brother.
Oh, fair enough. We'll send someone to get it.
Yeah.
Well, you said 936,000. Is this with allowances or
everything?
Everything.
Basic is 600,000.
Has the deduction started? The 50% deduction?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes.
Okay, so we will really look forward to that. Could somebody help us get the slip so that we can double check? Okay.
But you need to understand what's going on.
Because if he's being transparent, if you're being transparent, it's important for Nigerians to understand.
Let me. I was the president general of my town, Ozobo. Ozobo was that town that they killed 13 worshippers in a church. You can see what I passed through as president general. I escaped death by whiskers 2 times. At my age, if I don't say the truth, did you give me any money for an election? That I won't tell you the truth. If I earn 100 million naira, I will tell you. You will not force me to collect it from me. You can tell me, oh, let us cut it down. I say yes. It's good that we cut it now.
Okay.
Ask anybody that knows me.
One of the things that you mentioned, really, we're going to get that pay slip so people can see that. One of the things that was also mentioned as one of the demands is the need for a unicameral legislature. Right? So we've talked about, part-time job. You said, the work that you do, is it that the work you do is not enough with all the days that you come to? A unicameral legislature will, in the minds of many of these protesters, be one of the ways that the National Assembly has shown that it has cut down costs. The work that 2 people are doing, let 1 person do it. Is that something that you think about? Because you say you are in support of cutting down the cost of governance.
Let me tell you something. If they tell me tomorrow to give up my seat, I will. But the truth is that they have so trivialized this protest that you don't even know what are they talking about. Call somebody in Kaduna, he will tell you a totally different thing.
Let me tell you the way. Protest is a protest for whatever it means. It is not carnival. I expected the protesters to call all these activists. They will give lectures there. What they expected government to do. Not bringing musicians, dancing music. When is carnival becomes protest, carnival. Are we not telling them the truth? Carnival, and we are saying, don't we know what is protest, for Christ's sake?
You think the protest has been tribalized?
I'm coming. I will love the protest that single protest item. You can never force this government to bring down fuel to 165. It is impossible.
Why do you call it force?
I see, because when you protest, you are forcing. Let me tell you.
It's a position taken by the people. Is it force?
They gave us the authority by putting us there. They gave Mr. President the authority to take decision on their behalf. Right? Am I right? Any other thing that you don't do through the courts, you are being forced. Any protest to achieve an end is a force.
Okay.
I go with the people, but I would have done it differently. If I'm closer to those people, I will tell them, please, Mr. President, we don't want fuel. No matter how you want to do it. We don't want fuel more than 400 naira. This is our single request.
Is this why the people of the Southeast did not join the protest?
No! Thank you for asking us. The Igbos have been protesting. Who joined us? If the Igbos protest, the authority will come after us. If we don't protest, the protesters will say Igbos are not joining. They will target our investment. We have been protesting, nobody joined us. I moved the motion. We are celebrating Abiola today. By the grace of God, I served as Abiola's agent in my plea unit. Unpaid agent in Enuma Community School, Ozobo, 1993. Without knowing Abiola, I stood for him. See how people option A for how we voted for Abiola. Somebody declared Abiola the winner. Somebody declared Abiola, put his life online. Recently, Terry, I moved motion for the recognition of something. The man that put his life on motion. Thank God, Honorable Ghana from Niger State supported my motion. Until today, have you ever seen where Humphrey Wosu has been mentioned in all these things? Wait, I'm coming. He's an Igbo. We're not talking about it.
No, we want to stick with the issue of the protest.
Yes.
So when
how can we join the protest when we lost 3 illustrious children of Igbo?
So it's more or less.
Wait, I'm coming. We lost Ohanes Ndigbo president Iwu Anyanwu. We lost Senator Ifeanyi Ubah. We lost Odeko Onwenu, and they're expecting us to come out from our morning.
To come and join the beautiful. Protest. So the Southeast did not join the protest because they are mourning. Is that what you're saying? Or is it because you have been protesting and the rest of the country did not join you?
We have been protesting and the Igbos are in that species. Nobody joined us. Let them do this one. Let us.
This is different from what Senator Hope Uzodinma said, the governor of Imo State.
Of course.
It says the South is dissatisfied with the people, with the president.
Yeah.
The deputy speaker has also said that the president has been fair to the Southeast. This president has been fair to the Southeast, and that's why they have not joined. So I'm asking you, as an Igbo man and a lawmaker, are your people satisfied with how they have been treated by this administration?
Of course, no. With due respect to Governor Hope Uzodinma, he has his own opinion. Some people voted for him, as well as they voted for me. How can I tell you that Igbo people are satisfied with what is happening in Nigeria of today? If I finish it from this station, if I go back to my town, they will stone me. Because I'm not doing exactly. Look, that we are not fighting the president. Let me tell you the facts. Let me lay it on the table. Labour Party presidential candidate said that he will remove the fuel subsidy. Right? Mm-hmm. His Excellency Atiku Abubakar said he will remove the fuel subsidy. Right? Mm-hmm. His Excellency Bola Tinubu said he will remove the fuel subsidy. Right? They agreed on one thing. What they don't agree on is the mode, the route. Like Peter B. might, coming on that inaugural day, say, I will remove fuel subsidy in 3 months. Atiku Abubakar will say, I will remove fuel subsidy in 6 months. The truth is that they will remove fuel subsidy. Now, let us come to the president not talking to the people. During the campaign, how many times did the president talk to the people? Did he appear on any debates? You saw all these things here to voted him in, and they want him to change as the president. You people are not being fair to Nigeria. Tell the people the truth. This, our president, never talked to Nigeria during the campaign, and they want him to change. It is not possible. You are being unfair to the man. He showed you himself had the issue. And what you ordered was what was produced to you. So what are we talking?
Because we need you to get that pay slip. Your phone is in front of you right now. So we need to start to send the pay slip so we can show Nigerians which have been forthright about it. But Prof, while he does that, we listen to the lawmaker here. When it comes to what the protesters are asking for, this cutting down the cost of governance. True, everyone wants to be able to say, oh, the buck stops at the president's table. Oh, we have lawmakers like him. We have state governors. We have local government chairmen. We have a lot of people who are part of this governance structure. The cutting down of the cost of governance and the request for a unicameral legislature, is it realistic? Is this a realistic demand from these protesters? And is this something that you think could help?
I'll start from the protest and how it can be from the area of how to get across to the people. At a time like this, a lot of people will try to shine. People will come on television or read out something and show, oh, how they are defending government. And of course, they will all struggle to get it to the presidency. The fact is that government communication must be structured. There is only one institution in the country, aided by another of its parastatals, that has offices, information centers all over the country. Discipline must return to government communication, discipline and funding, namely feeding, because the person in charge of communication is sitting on top of a pyramid fed through every federal information center and every agency of government. That's why you have press secretaries described as resident information officers, staffers of information ministry, resident in your ministry for feedback. All of that is distorted. Remember, I was special assistant to the Minister of Information. Remember, Jerry Ghana was also Minister of Information before my boss. Go and ask 2 of them. And probably the current minister. Is that ministry funded? Maybe Idris is being funded up. Is one of the most unfortunate jobs to take. Because you are not funded and everybody is expecting miracle. That's number one. Some of the issues on the table now, like the beating of the soldiers at that, they say, oh, orientation. Is the National Orientation Agency funded? So, all of that aside, you ask yourself 2 things. Let structure come into place. Let order come into place. Let discipline. People should stop running up and down and trying to shine. We developed that culture over the last 20 years, where anybody can break in or go see what I did. Meanwhile, the person has no reach outside some elite circle, and those around him will come and say, okay, this man is very good. That's number one. Now, on the question of entitlements of lawmakers, from the perspective of the man out there, as Honorable is talking, and playing back the perception, I use the word deliberately, perception of the public. Because, is it true, it may be wrong, that the lawmakers were given bulletproof vehicles, each of which was valued at over 100 million. It was reported that the National Assembly was giving 70 billion for palliatives. I can't confirm whether it's true or not. But assuming it's true, it will mean that a certain amount went to each lawmaker. And so the question of pay slip, when I was teaching in the university, I think there was a review of salary in the 80s. Now the issue is, you can have your pay slip, the banks do that very well, structured in such a way that your taxable income does not actually capture your real income. And so if you're calling for concessions, or, you know, what you might call, what do you call it now, where you have to make release part of the money, you cut from the basic. So my suspicion, I may be totally mistaken because Honorable is here with us, that that call for 50% will come from the basic. He also made a valid point. Your transport allowance and other basic entitlements on assignment, you can't call the police for anybody on that. So my thinking, and I maintain it, and I've not had a counter argument. The last budget, it was rumored, I maintain rumored, because I've not seen it confirmed or contested, that over 30 billion was to go into car park, right? So, and also, each time the National Assembly comes, a couple of billions go into purchase of brand new vehicles, or vehicles that have been used for 4 years. These are the concerns. So nobody is asked, and concerning the matter of part-time, it need not be. Then unicameral legislature need not translate into a reduction of personnel, but it ought to. But a single house, trim down not to a number, I think also the number of representatives should be reduced. I think that the question of what's going on in the house, he knows. I know honorable members. Outside the country, they have full research team working. But when Nigerians like you and I look at a plenary, in a hall that's supposed to contain 30 people, you see 9, you feel insulted, and it's consistently so. That is part of the problem.
Honorable, let me come in here because that's the Prof. This is my June salary. This is June. Basic. Oh, it's total.
I think we should put that.
Let's take it on screen.
So it is 900.
Sorry to come in here.
Yeah.
No, let me put something on the table.
Just before you do that,
It's not the issue.
Let's get this out there. You may not think it's an issue, but the average Nigerian is concerned. The issue of jumbo pay for lawmakers has been louder than ever. Now, 936,000 naira.
Yes.
You've been honest. 1 second.
In June.
Honorable, just 1 second.
Okay.
You've been honest enough to say you earn 936,000, and we have seen that. However, where is the 50% cut?
It's a
This salary was paid on the 1st of August.
Yes.
When does the 50% cut
The
start?
salary, they started in July.
This is your July salary.
Yes, they started in July. We approved it in July.
Yes.
And it has to go on process.
So that's the salary of
no, let me
the House of Representatives.
There's another misconception.
Since we are being honest.
When
I'm
coming on this.
I want us to address the 50% cut that should have started in July.
Yes.
The reason is you are being honest now, and it's appreciated. However, Nigerians want a situation where the National Assembly is not just playing to the gallery. The resolution to cut 50% of your salaries for the next 6 months was supposed to start in July, right?
Of course.
Now, this is your July salary, fully paid.
We are missing.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
let me-
There's a point we are missing, Honorable. Sorry. 2004, after the budget came out, a committee chairman came, some members of the National Assembly, because the national press is under the Ministry of Information. There was 200 million allocated, and they came on, what do you call it, oversight function. But that 300 was for capital project. What is it that happens? Do they really carry out oversight? So if you say we are being honest, we should also be honest enough to examine. And that is not to say that every member of the National Assembly is on the train, but that's a dominant train. So what did the minister do? He said, this is for capital project. Nobody is getting a dime out of it. And he got clearance from President Obasanjo. The committee didn't get nothing. What point am I making? Part of what brings a scandal for the National Assembly is oversight functions. What they say, what is described as oversized bags as we exist the function and all of that. So if we're speaking of honesty, we must take up all the issues that bring discredit to patriotic lawmakers who are concerned about the fortunes of this country. That's the issue. But to pretend that all of them, look, when I spend 2 billion to go to the National Assembly, do I look to you like Red Cross? I'm not for that.
You know, this point you are making is valid. But sometimes when we mention these figures, they sound too bogus to the average Nigerian. And that's why the issue of Honorable Uzokwe's pay is really important.
You see?
When the National Assembly the House of Reps took that decision,
Yes.
the Senate was berated for not taking the same action as the House of Reps. Till today, that hasn't been taken. And then there were those who came up with the conversation of this is just playing to the gallery. No, just 1 second. This is just playing to the gallery. That's why I want him to respond to Nigerians who would question
while you got your full salary.
In the month when you know we don't pay ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. It's just like the president saying, first subsidy is gone. The next day they implement it. Tomorrow, if Mr. President says today, I reduce fuel to 400 naira, they will tell you that it will take a process. We are documenting it. But let me be sincere and honest with you. The speaker of today, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, has made our plenary so open that you can come in, you can testify to that. He does not hide anything. It was almost after mid-July that we cut our salaries. It was a Hulian tax passing that motion to cut our salary. It went through because the deputy speaker suggested that. We respected him and we cut our salaries. What they are going to do, the processes they will follow, I don't know. You might know August now, because they don't cut or they cut, they will not cut 600 or 1 million naira from that pay. You might not have your pay. If I am here and telling you they cut or it started July or it will start August, I don't know. But it will be, it is a process. Let me correct an impression by Prof. House of Representatives, if we are having a joint section, that capacity of House of Reps, particular, seats none less than the seat there is nothing less than 1,500 seaters. So when you see us, in order to accommodate when we are having joint sitting, is there that we have joint sitting to accommodate the senators and us. So whenever you see vacant seats, try as much as possible to do a head count. You say that we normally, there are government.
You know I'm there.
There are government honorables.
You know I do. You
hit the nail on the head. Yes, we have. Because here's the thing: what Nigerians see, we see those proceedings. It's live every day. It's live every day.
Yes.
What we do see is that there are people who speak, there are people who don't.
Yes.
And you have mentioned now that there are dormant people.
Of course.
Good. Now, if there are people that are dormant, isn't it reasonable for the Nigerian who's watching to think? 936,000 naira. Why are we paying a dormant person 936,000 naira every month?
Do you know why dormancy? Wait, let me come. Let me come.
About Parliament.
No, let me come. Now, all right. You have to interrogate why the dormancy. Some of them might go for an oversight function. Am I right?
Okay.
They might go for an oversight function. They might not be there. There are people, I am telling you, for Honorable Peter Fine News of since I have been elected, go and check the attendance register. Of course, there are a number of cities you have to attend in a year. If you don't, but people can recall you, your salaries will be stopped. I don't think since I've been elected and inaugurated February 7th, I have not missed 2 plenaries. What am I missing it for? But my people sent me here they see me every day.
Supposed to be your only job.
You see me every day. But there are people that miss. Even if I don't have any motion.
But there are people that miss.
Of course.
Good.
If I'm here and tell you that there are people, the people are not
just missing.
Consistently.
Of course.
Okay, so let's talk to Prof.
They don't relies on you to call out those people. That is why you people should checkmate us.
Yes.
Sorry.
Prof.
The onus does not lie on you to call out anybody, because there's a National Assembly, there's a House of Reps with a leadership that has to look into the matter. There's also the voting public that has to say we are not seeing our representatives. So the people are also remiss in that regard. Now, going back to the matter of pay. I remember when I was when the new salary, our salary in the university jumped from 1,000 something to 4,000. It was as if the world was about to end in terms of cash flow. So the convenient thing was to ensure that a substantial percentage of it did not fall within taxable income. So if you came and cut it by 40%, you'll be smiling pretty. Now that's one. Two, it's commendable that the lawmakers have cut down 40%, 50%.
50%.
Now, let them also cut down 50% of all entitlements, including trips. Then it will be realistic, because that's where the money comes from, DTAs. I've had to travel out of this country on 0 DTA or 50%, as I say to Minister of Transport, to go and represent the Federal Republic of Nigeria on BBC Hard Talk. The conversation was, DTA, we don't have to wait for it. Let them prove. They say, oh, there's no money. Okay, they say 50%. What point am I making? Picture that all the allowances are cut by 50%. Then you're becoming serious. But a pay slip, we want to go to the bank, take the pay slip of the average group general manager even. Look at what's on it. Then look at what he gets at the end of the year. You'll suffer a mild seizure. Now the National Assembly should not allow us to suffer a mild seizure. They become, if she says she wants to be honest with us, let them be honest about the true 50%, so not of the basic salary. I mean, of the pay slip.
Someone actually sent us a question to ask you. How much does your aid make?
My aid?
Yes.
My SLA, 265,000.
Okay.
A senator cautioned against pigeonholing any group as responsible for corruption, stating that it is a widespread issue among Malaysians across the board. Former MCA Vice President Tilian Kerr said corruption had become a Malaysian way of life, highlighting that many people, from traffic violators to corporate offenders, have resorted to bribery. He said the givers and all ethnicities and faiths, including licensed traders and legal companies, who dabble in a little corruption to ensure smooth operations. By a little corruption, he was referring to protection money paid to enforcement officers, adding that such cases had been reported before. His comments follow criticism from Deputy Inspector General of Police Ayub Khan Maidin Piche about attempts by certain individuals to racialize corruption. He said placing blame on certain communities for the widespread corruption did not deal with the root of the problem, which he said arose from autocracy and the lack of transparency.
For this month's Stevienomics, Stephen Kunyang talks family, a new post in Hong Kong, URC's exit from China and what others can learn from it, plus the changing of the guard at the Trade Department. We've got a lot to unpack. Without further ado, global investment banker Stevie Kunyang joins us this morning. Stevie, great to have you again this morning. Hi.
Thank you for inviting me again.
All right, so let's do a quick show and tell. We're going to flash photos, and maybe you can tell us why these photos are important and why they mean so much to you and maybe for the economy. This one is quite personal. This photo of your daughter-in-law and your son. Let's flash that photo now. There you go. So Stevie, congratulations. You're going to be a granddad again.
Yes. Congratulations to my daughter-in-law Yam and to my older son Miguel. They're expecting their first child towards the end of this year, and I wish them all the best.
All right, and let's turn to the next photo. Now, this one was an announcement we've been waiting for a long time. This is from the Hong Kong Financial Services Development Council. Actually, Stevie, we thought you were going to join the Philippine government in some capacity, but no, you're actually playing a very important role for the Hong Kong Financial Services.
It's not important. It's a very great honor. I'm very flattered and honored to be invited. But Hong Kong was long the center financial capital for obviously Northern Asia, which is China, Southeast Asia, and in some cases the Middle East. And recently, they felt because of the vast opportunities in China, they had let maybe a little more neglect than they should have had towards Southeast Asia and the Middle East. And to address that, the Hong Kong government's Financial Economic Development Council decided to set up an advisory council, which is just an honor, I think. It's not a full-time position. It's not a paid.
sakit tekak dan batuk sampai suara anda hilang? Ambillah Lozenge Vicks Vapor Drops yang membantu melegakan sakit tekak dan batuk untuk kembalikan suara. Lozenge Vicks Vapor Drops. Gunakan Vicks Inhaler untuk kelegaan cepat hidung tersumbat. Kekuatanku.
Position or anything for Southeast, for ASEAN, and for the Middle East. And I'm very honored that I'm one of the 15 that they invited to join the ASEAN Council. And I look forward to the first meeting. But it's more just advisory and a sounding board. But it's a great honor, and I'm very flattered they asked me.
Will you be advising them with regards to the Maharlika Fund that we have here in the Philippines?
Well, I have no idea, but I don't think so, because I don't think that's part of the purview of the council. It's more to spur. But I mean, let's see. I mean, I haven't had my first meeting yet. I think it was tentatively set for September, and let's see how it goes. Rather than that, I'd rather just, say thank you for the great honor, and that I'm very privileged and honored to serve.
For those who are very interested, like myself, I actually Googled Hong Kong Financial Services Development Council, and when you click on the news tab, top of the news pick would be Hong Kong, Qatar agreed to cooperate, strengthen ties between financial hubs. Hong Kong's FSDC signs MOU with Qatar Financial Center Authority. Hong Kong, Asia, here to stay. I guess I want to end with that one. With all of the You did mention some neglect earlier, but Hong Kong for several years has been lagging behind. Do you think Hong Kong is here to stay as a financial hub?
I mean, I have written in the past and talked on the show that why I think Hong Kong is very resilient is not the vagaries of geopolitics, but the hard work and flexibility of the people of Hong Kong. I've never seen a more entrepreneurial and flexible from a commerce point of view people in Hong Kong. Even former New York Mayor Ed Koch said, that's the only city in the world I've seen where the people walk faster than those in New York. But I'll give you two very simple examples. When I went there in December 2022, after they finally lifted restrictions, I went to my shirt maker, which I had been going to since 1993, and I ordered 6 shirts. And it normally takes 2 weeks because they'll monogram it and all that stuff. And I went on the first day I was there. It was a Monday. And I said, I'm leaving on Friday. Oh, too bad if it's going to take 2 weeks. Then without my saying anything, the person there made a few calls. I obviously didn't understand what they were saying because the Cantonese. And he called back and said, you're a very important customer of ours. You've been with us for nearly 30 years. The shirts will be delivered to you on Thursday.
Wow.
I didn't even ask. That's part of the mentality. Then there's a seafood restaurant I'm very fond of in Mourn. In the midst of COVID, some were open, some were closed. And I was going to leave to go back to Manila, and I asked my EA then, I was still at Evercore at the time, can you ask if they're open? I'd like to go. They said, no, they're closed. Then when she said who I was, they said, oh, he's been coming here since 1993. We cannot let him go to another restaurant. We will open for him.
Oh my
Tell
goodness.
him how many friends does he want to bring? And number 2, because many of the stalls are closed, please tell us what he wants to eat, so we'll make sure we have it. I didn't even ask. They volunteered. Now that's service.
All right. Stevie, I'm going to have to ask you for that restaurant's name after this show.
Lungtang. I love them. Lungtang.
Lungtang. All right.
In Mourn.
All right. We're going to move to the third photo now. This is a photo from a premiere that you attended. Let's show this photo now. Why?
Yeah, the Hong Kong Economic Development, Economic and Trade Office in New York. They do a lot of business and cultural activities. And apparently the most highly acclaimed and highest grossing Hong Kong movie last year, they had their New York premiere, and they were nice enough to invite me. It was loads of fun. So again, they're very proactive in pushing them, in putting their best face forward, both in business and in the arts, and that's to their credit.
Mm-hmm. And
that lady there is the head of the New York office of the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Development Council, Macy Ho. I actually met her when they were sponsoring this Hong Kong conductor, who's now the head of the Antwerp Symphony, to do her New York Philharmonic premiere. And I met with her there. I chatted about things. And she said, oh, you're free for lunch? I said, yes. And I explained my ideas. She said, can you meet Christopher Hui, the Secretary for Financial Services and Treasury, when you're next in Hong Kong? And that's how I got my post. Indirectly, thanks to the New York Philharmonic. Who would have thought?
It all works. Stevie, and then we have this photo of you with an acclaimed sports writer, Bryn Jonathan Butler. There you go. So why is this important special? And what's the Filipino connection?
Okay, I wrote an article a couple of weeks ago in the New York Manila Times, and I quoted his article, which you can read on sbnation.com, called Requiem for a Welterweight. And it was written in 2013, basically was reflecting on the time after Manny Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez. But it really was an article about boxing in general and the tragedy of boxing. And I quoted it, and lo and behold, he must have read it. He reached out to me and said, thank you. And since I'm in New York right now and he's New York based, I said, can I invite you for lunch? And we had a wonderful lunch and we talked about a lot of things. And it was a great honor to meet him.
Which you know, very timely.
A giant 85-inch Samsung TV.
How?
U-Home 5G. Unlimited 5G home Wi-Fi.
How?
U-Home 5G. Free Wi-Fi 6 5G router.
How?
U-Home 5G. No TV installments for the first 3 months.
How?
Get all of them in your home when you sign up for U-Home 5G home Wi-Fi. Get your TV starting from 65 ringgit per month for a limited time only. Visit u.com.my/home5g for info.
Because now, you know, with the Paris Olympics going on, they're calling it the summer Davos for Wall Street executives. Every big name seems to be in Paris to watch the games. A Filipino, our very own, Carlos Yulo, winning 2 golds at the Olympics.
And that's great. It's fantastic.
Do you see a connection, Olympics and business, and the way a country runs its economy?
I think that might be stretching it a little bit too bit, but maybe countries that have great pride in their culture and sports generally have great pride in themselves, and therefore they're more successful.
All right.
Hopefully this is a harbinger of renewed Philippine pride that we can build on.
All right, and now on to...
It's now 2 straight Olympics where we've won gold, having never won gold previously. So I hope it's a harbinger of better times all around.
And we're hoping with you. Now on to some hard news. DTI, the Department of Trade and Industry, seeing a shakeup in leadership. Secretary Fred Pascual resigning last week. We've got an acting DTI secretary. What do you make of the changing of the guard? Were you even surprised, Stevie? And what do you think?
I wasn't surprised, and you had mentioned it the previous month that it had been rumored, just like the way Jokno had been rumored. Now, I've never met Secretary Pascual or Secretary Jokno, but I just feel, as I said the last time, I think too much time in the DTI, whether it was his doing or somebody else's, was spent with, frankly, PR rather than results. Instead of announcing deals, signings, and actual investments, they were so busy tallying up and pushing MOUs and LOIs and everything, when I would have spent more time pursuing the people who were serious and getting it done. Because if you look at actual investments compared to all these LOIs, it's what, 10%? Less? So that's a pretty lousy conversion ratio. In most businesses, including investment banking, you have what's called a funnel. You have prospects, hot prospects, leads, mandates, completed. I think they should have concentrated more on the last 2 rather than the first tier, which is the most nebulous one. Second, clearly, part of the DTI's function is price control to keep cartels from, taking advantage and so on. And I would hope the next trade and industry secretary concentrates first on that, and second on converting the serious MOUs and LOIs into real investments. Never mind all the PR. And then and also one more thing, I noticed towards the end, Secretary Pascual's, when he was criticized for taking many trips, said, oh, that's nothing compared to when I was an ADB where I took more trips. Let me be blunt. 'Cause 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 'C That's frankly a very bureaucratic answer. The answer is not how many trips. It's what did the trips bring. I mean, when I was at Evercore, because I was chairman of Asia, I would travel to 3 cities a week every week. Trust me, I didn't enjoy it. But why did I do that? It's not to add frequent flyer miles. It was to win business and execute business. And if I didn't make budget every year, I don't think they would have tolerated 3 trips a week, but I was doing it to drum up or get business done. So I would have preferred if he answered, my trips resulted in this, rather than I did more trips when I was at the ADB. It's the results, not the volume.
It's a pretty tall order, Stevie. When you
No, but then don't ballyhoo all the trips, don't ballyhoo all the LOIs. Ballyhoo the results and work on them.
and where do you see potential when you think about what the acting trade chief
We
can
mentioned
work
it
on?
already before, okay? It's in the areas where we have a natural advantage. In other words, we have inputs because supply chains and complementary are critical. So what did I say 2 years ago on the most watched episode we had, which was right the day after the election in 2022? Mining, agricultural, basically food processing, which we're doing quite well at, but we can do more. Infrastructure and renewable energy.
Okay.
Because energy has to be where it is. Infrastructure has to be where it is. Mining, we have the inputs. And food processing, we have at least many of the inputs. So let's start with that, build a supply chain as well around it, rather than try to transplant something where we're not competitive. Then from there, it will build on.
Speaking of food manufacturing, URC last week, after announcing its earnings, pretty soft earnings numbers, they're saying that they were exiting the China market. They will completely cease operations, everything by 2025. What's the lesson there, Stevie? How do you make
That's a good
sense of that
sign.
story?
You know what?
Good sign for who?
For URC.
Okay.
Okay, because look, any bank that has no loan losses is not lending money. You can never hit 100%. Everybody tries new initiatives, and if they succeed, they build on it. And if they don't work out or they're underperformed, they cut it. You will never hit 100%. If you hit even 50%, that's wonderful. The key is when it doesn't work out, do you have the discipline to say, enough, we're not going to stay for pride or throw more money when it's not productive? And I think this speaks very well of URC. Now, URC is one of the $4 billion market cap food companies that are listed in the Philippines. The highest is San Miguel Food, which basically gets a lot of its market cap from its wonderful, deserved dominant share in beer and alcohol. Now, if you're just talking pure food only and non-alcoholic beverages, there's Century Pacific, Mondenisin, and URC. And they're all very successful. They're all competitive domestically and internationally, have a lot of exports for foreign operations, and we should celebrate them. And I have worked with all four of them actually, but all three, the three pure food, I have just during my time with them, they're at least combined 10 initiatives, products, or countries they have dropped out of, which is good because it means they're adventurous. They try. When it succeeds, they build on it. And when it doesn't, they get out. URC is a regional brand of great success. They have commanding market shares in Malaysia, in Thailand, in Singapore. So it is good to be ambitious. It is good to be methodical. But it's also good to know when to say, let's try something else. And that is to URC's management credit. Let's this way. When they went public in, I believe it was 1994, the market cap was maybe around 500 million. It's 10 times that now. So they've created wonderful value for their investors since they've been public.
It's
so good for them.
Cuaca panas, perubahan cuaca yang mendadak dan pencemaran udara mungkin menyebabkan sakit tekak. Strepsils mengandungi 2 bahan aktif yang boleh membunuh kuman dan memberi kelegaan. Strepsils, dapatkan kelegaan sakit tekak.
Good for URC, but what does this tell us about the China story?
But China's a big market, it's tough. Now, in fairness to URC, they weren't trying to blanket all of China. It was, I think, selected areas in the southern part. But if it's tough, it's tough. Move on.
All right. From China, we go to medical tourism opportunities here in the Philippines. Why is this important, Stevie? Why medical tourism? I'm curious.
For many reasons. And I'm sorry, some people who have a sort of, I don't know, I don't want to criticize their view, but let's just say I disagree with them because some people have said if we do medical tourism, it will widen the gap between medical service for the rich and the poor. That's nonsense. It's going to maybe make the gap between the rich and the medical tourists something because they can charge more for medical tourism. So that's really what you're arguing about. Just like when they say open land ownership, it's not going to change land ownership costs for the poor. It's going to change it for the rich if more people are buying priced properties. Now, but even that argument is specious. I represented Bangkok Dusit Hospitals, which is the largest hospital chain in Thailand, and together with Bumrungrad, the 2 leaders for medical tourism Thailand. And I sent you a picture, I won Deal of the Year for that in 2006, right? And Finance Asia. It was the first convertible bond since the financial crisis in Thailand. Now, what does medical tourism do? Several things. One, to be successful is a lot of hard work, but also needs accreditation so that you will be to them. And as appropriate, if you have international insurance, it will be accepted. To do that, what do you need? First, besides to be accredited, you need quality services, which are up to date, and quality equipment, which are up to date. How many of our hospitals buy everything that's up to date? How many of them buy what they'd like, which the budget allows? So if you're catering to medical tourism, generally, if you're full service, maybe you can specialize, you have to have the state-of-the-art equipment and treatments. Therefore, it will get better for everybody because even for the Singapore and Thailand hospitals that cater to them, it is a minority, maybe 20-30% at best for medical tourists. But who benefits? Everyone. Because you have better equipment, you have more advanced services and protocols, and you're up to date. Now, then also let's not forget, one of the 2 hospitals who've announced they want to do medical tourism is the very respected, highly regarded St. Luke's. Do people realize St. Luke's is a non-profit hospital? So if they make more profit in medical tourism, it will allow them to subsidize service to socially disadvantaged groups even more. In fact, I know some of the directors of St. Luke's, and they told me 1/3 to 40% of their budget goes to subsidized healthcare for the people who can't afford it. So if they have more money, then there'll be more of that. So it's good. Lastly, people are talking about brain drain, world-class Filipinos. So what? You're going to keep them by not having medical tourists and having lower revenues and lower income to the doctors and technical staff? If you can start paying them closer to what they'll earn elsewhere, but with the cost and lifestyle of here, isn't that going to be a greater incentive to bring world-class Filipino doctors and medical staff to have their career here rather than them? So I'm all for it. St. Luke's and Medical City, please go for it. You're doing a great thing for the country, and I hope you're successful.
All right. Never enough time, Stevie. We have to go. But thank you so much on that note for joining us again. We'll see you next month, hopefully with more time and more exciting topics ahead. Thank you, Stevie.
Thank you.
Have a great month.
operation nyo, tapos bigla kayong tatanggalin. Di ba? Kahit nasabihin natin that this is the practice of all these chief PNPs, ano? General Acorda, during your time, was there a situation wherein there is a successful operation, then a day after, tinanggal mo silang lahat? Was there an occasion?
During my times, I cannot recall such situations, sir, because talagang duly informed naman ako sa lahat ng mga operation, and except if there are some demeanors in the operation conducted, doon lang nagkakaroon ng relief, sir.
Of course.
As far as I can recall, sir, wala pong nangyaring ganun.
Of course, yun ang medyo masakit sa atin na after, ito yung hindi ko matanggap, honestly. When we have the last hearing, before I recognize Congressman Chairman Acop, hindi ko matanggap na after a successful operation, sasabihin natin that alam na naman nila natatanggalin sila. Di ba? Sana hindi po ganun ang maging procedure ng PNP. And as a matter of fact, marami sa inyo na na-demoralize dahil nga inilipat sila. Let's accept it. Ayan, katulad si Colonel Buyakaw, sinasabi niya, di ba? Personally. Di ba? Masakit. Kaya, I hope, before I proceed, the Chair would like to recognize Congressman Chairman Acop. Chairman Acop, you have the floor.
To put things in their proper perspective, Colonel Buyakaw, nasabi mo kanina na ini-expect mo na ma-relieve ka. Tama? Nung nawala si General Acorda.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Bakit?
Sir, as I said a while ago, sir, as experience yung napansin ko, sir, in the past, kung sino, sir, yung chief PNP, siya, sir, yung naglalagay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Retired na ako. I retired in 2001. 23 years. Nung ako rin ang nag-chief ng NCR CIS, ang chief PNP ang pumipili kung sino ang maging boss diyan. Diba? Kaya ikaw ang pinili ni General Acorda. Right? Tapos nung naupo si General Marbil, nirelieve ka kasi siya ang pipili ng uupo doon sa unit na yan. That has been the tradition. Tama?
Yes, sir. Yes.
O kaya dapat hindi sumama ang loob mo dahil alam mo na yun ang tradition eh. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I continue. Okay, so the Chair of Dangerous Drugs, Chairman Ace Barbers.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Patuloy mo.
So, balikan na lang natin yung sa issue sa Philippine National Police. Gusto ko lang matanong yung PIDEA. Is PIDEA present?
Yes. Dyan.
Yes, Your
Si Director Lasso.
Director General Lasso, mula nang nagumpisa yung mga congressional hearings ng dangerous drugs, public order, public accounts, at saka yung Committee on Human Rights, there seems to be a common denominator doon sa usaping yon, no? At hindi nawawala yung usapin tungkol sa drugs. Do you have any information that you wish to share to the committee with respect to perhaps your findings or your mga datos na nandiyan sa inyo, Director General Lasso?
Yes, Your Honors. This is our first time, for PIDEA to join this hearing. We have been actively participating in the committees on the EJK hearings and the Committee on Dangerous Drugs. In the hearings that we joined, we took note of the matrices or diagrams that were presented during these hearings, and when we went back to our office, we crafted a better diagram on how it can be clearly seen how they are connected with each other. And after we made that diagram, I shared it with PAOCC, Yusek Gilbert Cruz. because inputted in that diagram is that there was a report which